new Lexus RC is a 2+2 sports coupe that the Japanese company hopes will showcase its new, more appealing design language and throw a halo around the rest of its range. This is the first time Lexus is introducing a two-door coupe into the UK market, and where its past designs have been restrained, the new coupe is certainly more striking. Most noticeable is the new grille with its deep main section and aggressive chrome trim angles. Size and new design: the RC is based on the current saloon but differs in size, being both wider and shorter as well as lower to help deliver sharper handling and a more dynamic driving experience than the is. Its headlights and front grille are characteristic of the new design direction Lexus hopes will prove more appealing to new customers. Those headlights are an unusual 3-lamp setup, while the rear lights are sculpted into an L shape to reflect the Lexus L design motif. The wheels are 19-inch alloys with 10 spokes, though it is likely there will be an entry-level version with more restrained 18-inch items. Engines and driving experience: just as the Japanese company is keen to move its design to be far more noticeable, it is also determined that the car will deliver a world-class driving experience. That's no mean feat given how accomplished its German rivals are, particularly the likes of the BMW 4 Series Coupe. UK buyers are likely to be offered two choices of engine, including the hybrid RC 300h setup that uses electric motors, as well as a 2.5-litre petrol engine with 176 bhp hooked up to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. It's also possible, given its dynamic appeal, that buyers could opt for a 2.0-litre turbo engine that is focused on delivering rapid acceleration. This setup could also feature paddle gear shifters mounted behind the steering wheel if the 8-speed automatic gearbox is selected. Interior design: the RC offers 4 seats, though the 2 in the rear don't offer huge amounts of legroom. They are likely to come with ISOFIX mounting points for kids' seats, though. The aim is to provide a premium and luxurious setup rather than focused sports car, so the RC is more of a grand tourer than anything else. Lexus promises the RC will have its trademark comfort and high-end finish, while also featuring the latest touchpad technology and its remote touch interface RTI that controls the car's main functions such as sat-nav, audio and telephone functions. On sale timings: Lexus is unlikely to introduce their new coupe to the UK before 2015, and equipment grades are yet to be decided, though it is likely to be well kitted out as per other Lexus cars. Prices will be decided nearer its appearance in showrooms. Check back for the full Lexus RC review before then, including vital driving impressions of the new Japanese coupe. Performance: Lexus GS performance is pretty potent if you go for the top 450 hours model, less so if you opt for the more frugal 300 hours. Both are hybrids, combining a petrol engine with an electric motor. From launch, there was also a conventionally powered GS 250 model which relied on a petrol engine alone to get the job done. It was a little too thirsty to offer competitive running costs, however, and was discontinued at the end of 2013. Lexus GS 450 hours: the headline performance figures belong to the top GS 450 hours hybrid model. It's powered by a 286 bhp 3.5-litre V6 petrol engine combined with an electric motor for a total power output of 341 bhp. It will get from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5.9 seconds and has a top speed of 155 miles per hour. It can travel under electric power alone up to around 20 miles per hour and uses both the engine and motor together in normal driving. Transitions between power sources feel seamless. There are 3 driving modes: Eco for those that want to drive in an environmentally friendly way, Normal and Sport. There's also an additional Sport Plus mode, which firms up the adaptive dampers if fitted and makes the powertrain more responsive. It doesn't make the car any more fun to drive, though. The GS is definitely happier on motorways than twisting roads. Although the GS 450 hours is quick, oddly it doesn't feel massively fast. The main clue that you're traveling quickly is the intrusive engine noise when you put your foot down. The 450 hours uses a CVT continuously variable transmission automatic gearbox without fixed gear ratios. When accelerating hard, it means the engine remains at high revs for a long time, which can be a little intrusive. Lexus GS 300 hours compared with its big brother the GS 300 hours feels far slower, but its performance is adequate in the real world. It too uses a petrol engine and electric motor, but it's a smaller 2.5-litre four-cylinder unit which offers far more competitive running costs. Lexus has aimed the GS 300 hours squarely at the fleet market, and with ultra-low CO2 emissions of 109 GkM in entry-level trim and claimed average fuel consumption of 60.1 miles per gallon, it's very competitive indeed. The four-cylinder engine is much quieter than the V6, meaning the CVT transmission is less intrusive. Unless you're accelerating particularly hard uphill, for example, the GS 300 hours really is whisper quiet at most speeds. Acceleration time from 0 to miles per hour is 9.2 seconds and top speed is 190 miles per hour. Lexus GS 250 discontinued after 2013. This version was powered by a 207 bhp 2.5-litre petrol engine with a handy 253 Nm of pulling power and paired with an automatic gearbox. It can complete the benchmark sprint in 8.6 seconds and has a top speed of 143 miles per hour. Handling, even in Sport Plus mode, the Lexus GS is still not as sharp to drive as a BMW 5 Series or even an Audi A6. Yes, the driving dynamics are an improvement over the previous generation, but there is still plenty of work to do in this area to make this car one that will attract driving enthusiasts. Through corners it feels grippy and fairly agile, but steering feel and feedback is where the car is really below par. You don't get the feeling of involvement that you would get if you were driving a BMW 5 Series, for example. Equipment. The Lexus GS 300 hours is offered in 4 equipment grades, say, Luxury, F, Sport, and Premier. The flagship GS 450 hours does without the entry-level say grade. Standard Lexus GS equipment. The entry-level GS 300 hours say includes 17-inch alloys, front and rear parking sensors, automatic xenon headlamps and windscreen wipers, cruise control and 10 airbags. A further high point is a 12-speaker audio system with a CD player, DAB digital radio, Bluetooth connectivity, USB connection and an aux port for MP3 players. If plenty of equipment is a top priority, choose the luxury grade, and this builds on the kit already available on sale with 18-inch alloys, satellite navigation and a blind spot monitor system integrated into the auto-dimming door mirrors. The F Sport trim is aimed at drivers after a racy look, so it's a little more bling. Standard kit includes 19-inch alloys, a boot lip spoiler and different bumpers and grille with a distinctive F Sport mesh design. You also get Bixen headlights with an automatic high beam function and Lexus adaptive front lighting system cornering lights. On the inside, the F Sport gets sports pedals and perforated leather trim for the steering wheel and gear selector. The front seat has a 16-way adjustment with a 4-way lumbar support for the driver. The F Sport also gets technology which Lexus claims enhances the driving experience, including adaptive variable suspension, which continuously adjusts the damper settings according to driver input, the surface of the road and the car's body movement. If you select the F Sport trim with the GS 450 hours, then you get the Lexus Dynamic Handling System, which brings together an array of exotic-sounding steering and handling features, including dynamic rear steering, variable gear ratio steering and vehicle dynamics integrated management. Choose the flagship Premier trim and your car will have 18-inch alloys, high-grain leather upholstery, LED fog lamps and the F-Sport's adaptive suspension and selectable drive modes. Both front seats have an 18-way electric adjustment and memory settings, while the front passenger seat offers extra leg support. Also standard on the Premier is a 17-speaker Mark Levinson stereo, which really does sound fantastic, and an energy-saving air conditioning system. The GS 300 Hours Premier also includes a color head-up display. Optional Lexus GS accessories. The Mark Levinson stereo standard on Premier derivatives is an option on luxury and F-Sport cars. Optional on the SE are heated and ventilated front seats with leather upholstery and the Lexus Premium navigation system with a 12.3-inch screen. Also available is the Lexus Hotspot, a dealer-fit accessory, which uses two 3G antennas and is hardwired to the car's battery to create an onboard Wi-Fi hotspot. Comfort. Lexus GS comfort levels are high, and it's fair to say that it is an extremely pleasant place in which to spend time. It's extremely well insulated from tire and road noise, and noise intrusion from the engine is minimal on the GS 300H, and more noticeable under heavy acceleration in the GS 450H. The car rides well over undulating surfaces and is shown in its best lights on motorways. Ride quality is adequate on boards where bumpy sections make their presence felt more readily than you might expect at times. When at motorway speeds, wind noise from the front pillars can be a little intrusive, and the seats are not that well bolstered when compared to rivals. More lateral support is needed on the seating. Practicality. Lexus GS practicality levels are top drawer. Even those over 6 foot will have more than enough head and legroom whether they are sat in the rear or up front. The driver and front seat passenger have an extra 30 mm of headroom when compared to the previous generation GS model. The rear of the cabin boasts an extra 20 mm of knee room, while there is an increase of 25 mm in headroom. Both launch models get additional boot space too. The Lexus GS 250 has an extra 30% when compared to the previous generation to give a total volume of 552 litres, which is bigger than the Audi A6 530 litres, BMW 5 Series 520 litres and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class 540 litres. Thanks to the smart packaging of the hybrid battery, the GS 450 Hours gets an extra 55% of load room in the boot, equating to 465 litres. The GS 300H gets 451 litres of luggage space. Safety. Lexus GS safety is yet to be crash tested by independent assessors Euro NCAP. The GS is fitted with 10 airbags, ABS, traction and stability control and seatbelt protection as standard. Range-topping models also get a crash sensing system that incorporates a driver monitor camera that tightens the seatbelts and prepares the brakes ready for an emergency stop if it thinks an accident is imminent. There are lots of active safety options available, including a radar blind spot monitor which signals a warning light in the door mirror should another vehicle be overtaking. There's also rear cross-traffic alert, standard on all derivatives bar the GS 300 Hours SE, which uses the same radar system as the blind spot monitor to warn of traffic approaching from either side when reversing out of a parking space. The adaptive front lighting system AFS fitted to F-Sport and Premier derivatives swivels the headlamp beam into a bend as the driver turns the wheel. At low speeds it swivels one headlamp only. At lower speeds aid visibility at junctions. An automatic high beam dipping function is also included. Reliability. Lexus is a popular buy among used car buyers because it regularly tops reliability surveys. Past Lexus GS reliability has helped to garner that reputation, and we see no reason why the fourth generation of the GS will change that.